Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome to the first episode with Transcend with Shubham. In this episode, it's important that we clear the basic premises of the podcast because the whole podcast it is about exploring the world of spirituality, mystical sciences, mental well-being. So it's basic. It is very important that before we start, we starts with the basics and gets the basics clear. Once the basics get clear, then we can build a house. Why not a house, a fortress or palace on those foundations if the foundations are strong? And if the foundations are not strong, whether you build a palace, it will be a palace of cards. With one blow, it will flow away. Okay. So before we start about this, I would also like you to I would also like to let you know that what we will be covering in the podcast, we will be covering what is spirituality and mysticism and how they are different from each other. What about those things about Reiki, tarot, crystal healing, all those hot yoga, beer yoga, all those stuff about the deities, about the occult and spiritual symbols, and the conjuring and everything, exorcism, all those, how this fit into the world of spirituality and mysticism. Don't freak out yet. My intention in this podcast is to dumb down the stuff, although it's a serious compromise that I will be making because those jargons are like itself a big world by themselves, but it's it's so that you can relate to them. The main thing that one would do before they start a journey is try to make that journey relatable to themselves. If you can't make it relatable to you, it feels utterly boring. It's how is it for me? I don't know about you, but for me, if I can't relate to it, then I can't stay on track. Okay, then that mechanics also we will talk about, like how to make things relatable and what is that science, the science of emotions and devotion, bhakti, as we say. So we will also talk about that. And also we will talk about my journey, that how me as a kid, how I was as a kid, and how my entire persona and everything got transformed as I moved to this uncharted inner path, and how this Transcend Sutras came into being, and what is the vision and envision of Transcend Sutras, how it came. So, yes, so many things to talk about, but let's start first with an invocation. Now, before we start with the invocation, I would like to let you know what is an invocation. Okay, because if you see many spiritual leaders, okay, especially from India, now in the Buddhism sector also, I don't know, they will always start with some invocation. Now they will generally say it as a prayer, that will start everything as a prayer. Even if you go in Indian schools and big schools who are there, they will always light a lamp. Okay, and they will say we are prayer, we are doing prayer to a goddess. It's not a prayer. Okay, it's an invocation. So what is this invocation actually is? So invocation is basically a system of realignment of your energy body so as to do a particular task. Okay, and what is a prayer? Prayer means basically telling what God should do. You are acting as consultants of God and saying what God should do for you, and this should happen, give me this, give me that. Okay, like that. So invocation is basically, if we see as this body, okay, as layers. In yogic sciences, the body is seen as different sheets of body, different layers of body. We have the physical body, which is known as the Annamaya Kosh. We will come to that in future episodes. Don't worry, just listen to me, okay? Just don't get buzzed out. Oh my god, so much, so much. So this is the physical body, okay? But in yogic sciences, we don't consider mind to be only here. The mind is everywhere, because mind is basically what consists of. It consists of memory, and it consists of intelligence. Yes or no? If we can, it can do the computing and it has memory of its own, we call it the mind. But the yogis see the mind everywhere, the whole body. It's a mental body. Why it is known as the manomaya kosh? Why it is the mental body? Because in each part of the body there is cell. Okay, and the cell has memory. If it wouldn't have memory, then it couldn't, you know express the genotypes, phenotypes, and the characteristic qualities that your forefathers had, it couldn't store. Okay. Like you didn't know how the facial expressions of your forefathers are, but your body remembers. So the body has memory, and the body, each cell in the body, each tissue in the body is computing many complex processes which many supercomputers can't do till now. Okay, one molecule of DNA, how much it computes and how much it designs every day, the bodily processes, our mind can't do like that. So this is only a part of the mental body. The whole mental body is all over the body. So we don't consider mind to be here in the brain. We consider the yogis consider the mind to be everywhere. Okay, it's known as the manomay kosh. Kosh means sheath, man means mind. Okay, so the mental body. Then we have another layer which is known as the pranamaya kosh, or the energy body. Pran means the vital energy. It's similarly like if uh, annamaya kosh, or the physical body, is the hardware, and manomaya kosh is the software. Pranamaya kosh is the energy socket with which the manomaya and the annamaya kosh are connected together. It means the energy body is the energy socket through which the mental body and the physical body are connected. If the energy body breaks down, your hardware and software will go. Okay. Bringing this model, I will also make you understand how death happens. Okay. And how those, some mystics are there who, after the people are dead, they will do something and the people will rise up, or the animal will rise up. Okay, so that happens in occult. So we'll also go on about that. It's basically, to demystify all this that is happening, because people are so, you know full, one to have magic, one to have miracles, but there is a science related to entirety. Okay, once you have the science, you won't get fooled by anyone who shows you miracles. That's one of my uh, that's one of my vision I would like to have with this podcast, is to demystify all the miracles, so that from miracle to responsibility, from miracle to creation. Okay, so that you don't get puzzled by miracles, or someone shows you some magic and you go, oh my god, he's god, he's god, he's god, he's this, he's that. No. If he can do it, you can also do it, but you don't know the ways. It's like, one knows how to do a computer, how to make things on computer, and you don't know it, you don't say, oh my god, he's god, he's god. No. Okay, so if he can do it, you can also do it, you just don't know the ways. Better to strive to know the ways and executing it so you have it, rather than hanging them up and being worshipful of them. We'll also come to them in the future episodes. But now, what is this invocation? So this invocation, so the energy body also has like a nervous structures, like we have nervous system, we have the energy body also has nerves, like energy nerves, which is in the entire body. Okay, in that energy body we come and we hear the term chakras. Chakra business all happening. Many of you are doing chakra healing. Okay, so that energy body has nerve cells, and the nerve cells ha- come to a junction in some centers of the body, mainly in the spine center, come to the junction, and those junction points are known as chakras. Okay, so the invocation is basically activating the energy body and asking the energy body to work in a certain way. Okay, for if we take the example, you may have seen that the athletes and the sports person also do certain rituals before they, even Usain Bolt has a particular ritual before he jumps into action, into running, he does some stretching or something. Yes, even the swimmer does some warm up exercises. Even I when I go to jiu-jitsu, I do jiu-jitsu martial arts, so we have a warm up exercise. Okay, and so that is a kind of a ritual. So that is a kind of a invocation, but that invocation is of the physical body. Yes, so similarly, to do certain things in the world, we can align the energy bodies in certain ways so that it becomes feasible. The thing that we want to have, it becomes feasible to achieve success in that field. So okay, so before we start on with the contents of the podcast, we will like to invoke whom? Ganesha. Why Ganesha? Ganesha is the deity. We will also come to deities, like what are deities, how do they work, what are the science behind deities, and how deities can be a tremendous powerful machines for not only achieving success in this material world, but also in the non-physical world. Okay, we will come to the whole science of deities and consecration, but here, be here with me, here with me, be here with me, and just do as I say. Okay, so we will invoke the energies of Ganesha, and what these energies are aimed towards. It's towards having this podcast without obstacles, least amount of friction, and what I'm trying to say so that you can grasp it. It's not understand it. Many things I would say may not make sense to you or may not understand it, but just grasping it, it's like just engulfing it. Okay. And when that time comes, the appropriate time comes, so that the knowledge manifest in you, that time you will get realizations or epiphanies, like, oh, eureka, oh my god, oh, this is it, this was it. So like that it will happen. But now it may not happen, it may happen, it depends on your competency level. It may have depend on your level of consciousness, how matured your consciousness are, how many experience have you been exposed to. So there are many factors to it. Okay, we will come to it in the future episodes, so many things to discuss, see. So we'll just invoke Ganesha so that the purpose of the podcast gets fulfilled and you get the best out of it. Okay, so close your eyes and focus into your third eye, or the Agna chakra, we call it, third eye, where we put tilak. The Hindus put tilak or bindi. Between the eyebrows, there's small penis size shape. So you can focus it there, or you can focus it on the heart chakra. And what is this heart chakra? Heart chakra is basically where your sternum is. Down your sternum, where the rib cage meets, in the middle, there's the heart chakra. You can focus either here or here. We'll also go into the mechanics of what happens when you focus it here and what focus it there, the visualization and everything. There's a science to it. Everything has a reason. But you don't know the reason. That's why you say, oh my god, what is it? Okay, so just focus one of this, and I will chant the invocation, and you just if you know Ganesha, visualize, you can visualize Ganesha in a red cloth. If you know him, if you don't know him, just visualize the character alphabet Om, if you know it, or just be with me. Okay. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Vignavinashaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayana. So we have invoked the energies of Ganesha. Uh, now let's start with the contents of the podcast. So, what is this spirituality and what is this mysticism and how are they different from each other? This question comes in many ways. And what qualifies something to be a spiritual process? Okay. So, let's break down spirituality in terms of Indian mysticism. So if we take the Sanskrit is the Vedic language, we call it. Now, what are the Vedas? We will also come to it. Everything is connected. Everything is a big jigsaw puzzle, and you put the pieces together, and then it feeds the puzzle. And when you see the picture, oh my God, then you get, oh my God moment, aha moment. Okay. So if we take the Sanskrit language, it translates into, because I can't explain using English, because English is very incompetent when it comes to explaining different states of experiences. Why? Because English has very few letters, alphabets, and very few vocabulary. Okay, Sanskrit has more because it has defined each and everything. It has a defined thing of its own. So we'll talk in terms of Sanskrit so that you also understand some of the Sanskrit words and you become some, jargon savvy in spirituality. So, spirituality basically means Adhyatma. Okay, what is this Adhyatma? Adhyatma comes from two Sanskrit words joined together, is known as Adhyayan plus Atman. Now, what is Adhyayan? Adhyayan means to study, Atman means to self. So, spirituality means the study of the self. Now, who this self is? Who are you? Are you the body? Are you the mind? Are you your emotions? Are you energies? Are you something more than that? That is a fundamental question. It's like you have come here, you are doing everything, all this shitty nonsense you are doing, crying, hating, loving, earning a job and everything you are doing, but you don't know who you are. You don't know the fundamentals of the game and you're trying to play the game. Now just imagine, if you don't know the basics and you are trying to, suppose, let's take an example. You don't know how to drive a car. You don't know what a car is, how it does, how the brakes are, how mechanics of the car are, and you start driving on the road at full speed. I can only imagine the scenario. There will only be stress, there will be fear, there will be anxiety, isn't it? You don't know how to drive a car, and you have just started driving without knowing, without investing enough time to know the basics of the car, to know the signs and symbols on the road. That what does this sign mean? Why is it here? What is this paddle? What are these paddles? 3 to 4 paddles. By the way, I don't know how to drive a car. I don't even know how to uh, drive a how to ride a motorcycle. I just know how to ride a bike. We'll come to that, like how. So, if you don't know the basics, what does this small mirror, which is known as the rear view mirror, used for? You don't know, and you just drive a car. Every moment of that journey will be a disaster for you. Will be full of stress, full of anxiety, full of fear. You will die out of fear. I would say, if there are cars approaching. Similarly, when you come to this life, you don't know who you are, what is the nature of your existence. Okay, what is the system, how does this body functions? Are there different aspects of the body? Are there different aspects of the mind? Are there different aspects of the intelligence? How it is everything connected? What is our start, what is our end? Without knowing the fundamentals of life, you jump into action. Will stress be a part of your daily life or no? Yes or no? It would be, because stress is just a consequence, a notification bell ringing that, bro, you didn't understand the basics and you came here without understanding the basics. That's why every time you hit stress, just remember it's a body's mechanism telling you, bro, you're not competent enough. There is something you should know, you must know, and you have not known it. Okay. You don't have the eligibility to play the game. Okay, that is what stress and anxiety is. And everyone is asking, oh, how to manage my stress? It's like, oh, I don't want to know how to drive the car, but I want to drive the car, you know? And I want to know how to manage the fear that I have without knowing how to drive the car. Isn't it absurd? Isn't it lunatic? Yes. But people are still going doing that. They are going to counselor, they are going to psychologist, they are trying to manage the stress. You should not manage stress. You should not manage something that you don't want in your life. Do you want stress in your life? Now, I know there is a model known as eustress and distress. Eustress is the point where your performance gets to the maximum optimum, and after if you don't have stress, it dwindles down. But there are much updated technologies to get the same thing done with optimal productivity and without getting stressed. Okay, just that you have not been exposed to those technologies and you're doing whatever fits best for you. So this trending about anxiety and stress is just a basic consequence of not knowing the fundamentals of who you are, and it should be there. Otherwise, it's like if you're putting your hand on the fire and if your hand doesn't send signals to the brain that, bro, you know get out of that, otherwise I am dying, you would just put your hand in the fire and you will show to friends, see, I am not, I am fireman. Don't underestimate the stupidity of how which extent you can go. If there was no pain, only pain is keeping you alive, otherwise you would do all sorts of stupid things. You're doing it with manias. You're killing your body in many ways, but you don't know it. because there's no pain. Once you start to get the pain, only then you stop. So pain is like giving you sticks inside so that you become and do the necessary thing. At least the body is doing a wonderful job to keep it alive, because if the body wouldn't do it, you would be dead by now. It's only the body's defense mechanism that is keeping you alive. So stress is just a consequence that you don't know how to handle your body and mind. The yogis, what they do is, first they, before jumping into action, they know, they clear the basics first. Okay, now what is a yogi? Yogi is not someone who is wearing yellow ochre robes, wearing some beads, and having a big beard, and he's sitting under a bodhi tree or a cave. Okay, yogi is not. So I would like you to dissociate this stereotypical norms that have been brought up through various generations, and I would like to you have a fresh perspective on the terms that I am using. Okay, like spirituality means anything which helps you to know who you are, the fundamentals which helps you to get your basics right, is a spiritual thing. Whether it's be a process or a tool or something, we will also come to the terms that what is a tool, what is a device, what is a yantra. We will also come to all those terms, but first basic thing that I want you to get clear is spirituality means study of the self. Anything that which helps aid in that study, which helps to know our fundamentals better, that is a spiritual thing. It may be anything that I will come. Now, who is a yogi? Yogi is someone. Yogi comes from the term yoga. Yoga means doesn't mean twisting and turning, like a cat, goat, shark, all those stuff that is happening around the world. Unfortunately, it pains me to see all these things happening in the garb of yoga, where yoga should be treated as very sacred thing, because yoga comes from the term Sanskrit term yog. Yog means union. Union of whom? Union of you with yourself, the essence of who you are, the union of you with others around you, the union of you with the source from which everything manifested. If there is anything, there must be a source. Without a source, there can't be any manifestation. Okay, so if you are here, there must be some source from where you have manifested. Okay, so that source, union with the source, and unions towards the whole existence. If you can experience that, not intellectually but experientially, like how you experience your hand as a part of yourself, this eyes, this ears as a part of yourself, then we call you as a yogi. And to achieve that experience, there are processes that we know we call as yogic processes. See, simplified. You should always have simplified analogies so that you don't get bumbled up. And if in the terms of spirituality also, this is the criteria. If something is not allowing or aiding you to know who you are better, then it's not a spiritual process. Get away from that process. That's just fluff and bullshit. Okay, no matter it is showing itself like a spiritual process, it's not. Just run away, run away, run away. Okay, yoga same. If it is helping you to achieve union with yourself, with others around you, and with the existence as a whole, then anything, maybe it doesn't look like stereotypical yogic process, but it's a yogic process. Okay, so that qualifies for a yogic process. That is a yogi. Now, an yogi is someone who has experienced, who's in whose psyche or whose existence this experience has dawned. It's not like he has to convince himself every time to have this experience. It's just there. How you experience this hand as a part of yourself, you're experiencing everything as a part of you. So that is a yogi. Now, the yogi may have a beard, may not have a beard, may wear stereotypical clothes, may not wear clothes. It's like that. Suppose let's have an example. Suppose those who are researching in a chemistry lab, they have to wear lab clothes. Yes or no? They have to wear lab clothes. But he is a researcher. He's researching on various solutions. Okay. But when he is out of the lab, he's not wearing that clothes. But still, he is a researcher. Yes or no? You will still call him as a researcher. I mean, if he has done a PhD in something, you will call him a doctorate. But doctorate is not associate of being wearing that typical clothes. It's a part of his job. When he's going into that atmosphere, he has to wear it. Similarly, a yogi can wear anything. Okay. But when he has to do certain practices that require him to wear certain kinds of clothes, like how there's a precaution is step to wear those and glasses while interacting with, involving yourself with acids and bases which are stronger in concentration, you have to wear. That's a safety mechanism. Similarly, to make certain practices conducive enough so that we can get the best out of you, certain dressing recommendations are being made that will come also in future podcasts. So that time they wear, and there are some other reasons also, but disassociate clothing with the terms. Okay, clothing is for convenience. It is the term which makes you actual significance. It is what it is. Okay, so if you also can achieve those sitting in your home, stuffing popcorn, binge watching TV, you have experienced everything as a part of you, we will also call you a yogi. Okay, and if you are watching video games, playing video games, and if you know the basics of fundamentals of who you are, we will call you a spiritual person. Okay, even if that gaming is helping you to realize, making your fundamentals being clear of who you are, the nature of your existence, that gaming is also a spiritual process. Okay, so disassociate activity with being. Being means how you are right now, how you're experiencing right now. That is your being. Action is what you're doing. Okay, generally we associate what someone is doing to their state of how they are. No, it is a very grand mistake, because I can experience something, but I can do the typical opposite. Yes or no? But if you judge me through my actions, you are a fool. Not that English fool. You are a Hindi fool, means flower. Okay. So that's why dissociate the terms with the clothing. Similarly, if someone wears a particular kind of clothing, suppose they are wearing stereotypical clothing, which suggests that he may be a yogi, but he may be a con artist. Yes, that's why people get fooled, and when people get fooled, they they throw the baby with the bathwater, that everything is corrupted, it's just all just mumbo jumbo. It's not. It's your foolishness that you have not have the necessary you didn't have the necessary discretion to, you know, to separate the baby and the bathwater. Okay, so that is one of my intentions in this podcast, that I make you competent enough to keep the baby and throw the bathwater away. Okay, don't, because if you throw the baby with the bathwater, you can't reinvent the wheel like today. Okay, there is a certain intelligence that has been gone throughout the decades. It's not all bullshit that people have invested so many things. They have invested their life into it. They're not stupid people. Okay, so let's understand the science, and once you have clarity, you can see things as they are, then you can easily, no one can fool you. You will be a flower fool, not fool. Okay, so that is this. So what I was speaking, see, I forgot. So yes, for this spirituality and yogi. Okay, so now when this, you have understood what is spirituality, what is the purpose of a spiritual process, who is a yogi, and how can you discover a yogi. Okay, what yoga actually means. Yoga means union. Now everyone, okay, everyone is doing yoga. How? Everyone is a yogi in some sense, but unconscious yogi, unrealized yogi. Everyone is trying to achieve that union. Everyone is trying to get that connection with others. Okay, so whether, but they have not gone the way that works, but they have taken the sideways. Okay, so I said that yoga means to achieve union. Okay, now how can you, being in this human body, how can you achieve union? What does this human body has? This human body has physical body. Yes, the human body has the mind. The human body has emotions. The human body has energies. These are the four aspects that the human body has. Since we have the four aspects, we can achieve union only through these four aspects. Clear? We have the physical body, we have the emotional body, we have the mental body, we have the energy body. Yes. Since we have these bodies, yoga means achieving union. Now, achieving union only with what we have. We can't achieve union through something which we don't have. Okay. So, if we achieve union through our physical body, means through actions, selfless actions, means where the actions are not concerned about your well-being, you are performing actions for the sake of someone other, you are keeping others well-being above your own, and you're doing actions for them. Example is volunteering. Okay, that yoga is known as karma yoga. Now we also come to know what karma is, because all this karma bullshit is going on around the world. Karmas, what karma hits back. Oh my god. Okay, so that is, then if you have realized the fundamentals of who you are, okay, by just volunteering, by doing selfless, not selfless, I would say, but keeping something other than your own as higher, their well-being is higher than you, then if you, through volunteering work, you have, if you have realized, come to that realization of who you are actually, the essence, okay, then we will call, means you have achieved union through actions, through your physical body, then we will call you a yogi, but the specialization is karma yoga. So we will call you as karma yogi. Okay, so yoga is the basic qualification, but the specialization differs, or you may have specializations on all the four. Okay, but someone has specialization in one thing and the other. Okay, and those specializations are again clashed one against the other. Someone will say, no, this is right, this is wrong. So all those are yogis, but the specializations differ, and since the specializations differ, their way of perceiving the world is also differing. Okay, because how they have achieved that union. Now, if you realize the fundamentals of who you are through your logic, through your intellect, like your intellect has become so sharp enough that it can cut through this veil of maya. Maya means illusion, not illusion, maybe we can call it as illusion. So you can, you know, the behind the scenes, your logic is sharp enough that you cut through the behind the scenes and you see everything as it is, how the mechanics of this life is going on, what are the basics. You come to your existential identity through your logic, then we call you a yogi. You have achieved union through everything, but through knowledge. Yes, then we will call you as jnana yogi. Jnana means knowledge. Okay, so you have qualified as a yogi, means you have experienced the union within you and everyone around you. You have known the fundamentals of you, who you are, but through specializing in knowledge, we call you as a Gyan yogi. But again, if you achieve the same union through your emotions, okay, then we will call you a devotee. Okay, but what is the Sanskrit term for a devotee? Bhakti. Okay, so you have achieved union through your emotions, but here remember, the first step to achieving that union through the evolution of devotion, emotions, is love. Love is the first step towards achieving that union. Means love, what happens in love is like, you don't omit your existence in you, but you become small enough, you fall enough to accommodate the other in you. Yes, so you you become small enough to accommodate the other person or other being in you. That's what, when love happens. That's why there is always this term in as falling in love. There is no rising in love. You have to fall, you have to become small enough to accommodate the other person in you. If you can't, then love won't happen. Okay, so that is love. Love means taking the other as a part of you, but in that you are also present. It's not that you have annihilated yourself. That is a lover. That's why in love affairs, it's also we will talk that how love is different from relationships. Where people confuse love and relationships. No, they are different. Their game is totally different. Relationship has a completely different game. So that is love. Okay, so since is this the first step towards achieving that grand union, it feels so nice, it feels so ecstatic, and people become, poets and all those things when they have the first love, because that is a teaser of what that achieve union, what the yoga ultimate union feels like. It's just a teaser. See, if the teaser is so intoxicating, what will be that end goal, end game? Just just imagine, those who have experienced love, those who haven't, what are you doing? Go have experience of love, maybe with a dog or god or someone else or the neighbor next door. Just, try to fall in love. It's a beautiful experience, but yes, it has pangs, it will hit you in your butt. So that is the first step. So if now, what that love is basically taking the other as a part of yourself, but in that you are also present. But when you annihilate this part of you completely, that there is only the other, we call you a devotee or a bhakt. That is the difference between a lover and a devotee. A lover has his own self with the other, but a devotee has no sense of self. There is only the other, the object of devotion. Whether it may be a deity or a god or your film star, superstar, or something, or your wife, husband, dog, anything. When there is only the other and other, there is no you, then there you are called a devotee or a bhakt. Okay. And w- once you annihilate yourself, so if there is no you, means you have become everything. Okay. Either you become everything or you become nothing. Both are the same thing. Okay. If you annihilate this sense of self, you become so small and small, there's no you, means you have achieved that union with everything. It's like a soap bubble. Okay, there's a bubble, 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 bubble. One thing is you can grow the bubble big enough, or you just prick the bubble. Then the bubble, there is no existence of the bubble, but you can't differentiate now the bubble with anything else, because the bubble has merged with that thing. Okay, so if you have experienced that union through and highlighting your sense of self, then we call you a bhakt or a devotee. Then you have also achieved experience that union, but you have achieved in the level of emotions, how devotees have achieved, but they have realized that union through their emotions. That doesn't mean that they will also have that logical sense to grasp it. They may have, but that doesn't mean that they know everything consciously. They just know it. This is what I just know it. I just know it. They will just say this. This is how I feel, and they will not have this. May not have that logical sense to decipher or to articulate it through in their terms as a uh, one who has realized through knowledge does. Okay, so he's a bhakti yogi. Now there is other segment of people who say like, oh my god, this mind, I don't want to get into this body and mind business. I just want to raise my energy body to such a pitch that I become a vibrational match to the existential aspect. Okay, like, so through various processes, they do it, those kind of people, and they pitch up their energy body, the energy vibration, so much that it becomes a match the vibration aspect of the universe. And when it becomes a match, they experience it energically, that I am energy wise, everything is the same. Who I am, I have known it through energy aspect. So that we call him a kriya yogi. Kriya means a particular thing that you are doing outside, sorry, inside, and it is generating certain kind of energy. In layman terms, it's not exactly what I'm speaking, it is just so that you can get the hang of it for now. So we call, he is also a yogi, but he is a kriya yogi. Now, it is very important to understand that the one who has achieved that union through knowledge, through selfless action, means volunteering, through emotions, and through energy, will have different perspectives of what enlightenment is, of what that union is, of what that yoga is. So it may very much be possible, and it is a very much possible thing, that their viewpoints will clash with each other. Means they have realized, but the ways are different. Only one who has realized this path, so all these paths, means who has done specialization in each path. Only he and or she can give you a holistic picture. Otherwise you will always following someone who will be with clash with someone, you know. And it is happening all around the world. Okay, how much in each of the four paths you have specialized, you have grasped the knowledge, that much holistic perception you will have. Okay, so if we take the case of a kriya yoga, what is the most popular thing that is happening in the name of kriya yoga is kundalini. You have heard about chakras and chakra healing, all the stuff. That is the part segment of the kriya yoga. But here is the thing about kriya yoga: if you want to achieve union with kriya yoga, you have to be very disciplined and you have to be very scientific in approach, because it is like opening the root programming of your body. Because you're playing with your energy source, and if there is one mistake in the energy source, or if the energy source is not aligned perfectly, it will mess up your mental and physical body in such a way that you may not be competent to do anything, because you're playing with your fundamentals now. That is the basic console access panel, okay, or the root function that we have in mobiles and desktops. Okay, so it's not wise. It should only be done under an experienced kriya yoga yogi. Just by taking certificates from 2 days course or 1 year course, you don't qualify to become a kriya yogi. That's why I also make people do meditations, but I don't go into so much chakra healing and everything, because I know the gravity of the situation. And people who are just doing it for the sake of doing, because they have learned some course or something, I will suggest you be aware of it, and be aware of the consequences that you are getting into. Same with reiki. I will also come to the science of reiki, that how reiki works. Okay, it is very important, because these are the things that you are trying to play god, and it has its consequences, and the consequences are damn frightening. Okay. See, someone who's laughing all the time, if he's saying something with certain conviction, it means there is some substance into it. Okay. So these are the four ways of yogi. Now, today what I want you to do is like, see, if you are new to spirituality, or someone who you are doing, but you are confused, like why are their views contradictory, just see those spiritual teachers all around and classify them into one of these four paths. You will get your answer. Then there will not be any frustration in you, not be any dilemma. You will just know that okay, he has experienced realization on knowing who he is or she is through this aspect. That's why he is unaware of all the other aspects. So you will only appreciate them for who they are actually, not put them up in the pedestal. And if it's not conforming to your views, you will put them down. No. Okay, just appreciate them of how much they are. That's it. That's only what you have to do. Then only you can grasp what is in them. Otherwise you can't grasp. Okay, so don't put them up on a pedestal. There's also signs like what putting them up on the pedestal works, but if it's not working for you, it's rubbish. Don't do that. Okay, so that is, we have covered spirituality, we have covered yoga, we have covered what is a yogi, we have also covered what are the different ways of yoga, we have also covered in small the different ways you can achieve yoga, and how you should not judge someone by their actions. It's a stupid thing to do, because some people may be an MIA agent undercover. You may not know. Okay, so treat everyone as if you're treating a very knowledgeable person. Like, may if you don't, if you relate to god or don't relate to god, we will also come to those terms, that you can know your true self of who you are, with god or without god. There are ways. Okay, that is an interesting thing. Like, for me, the journey I chose to know who I am, the fundamentals of who I am, the nature of what my existence is, with god. And that is a very beautiful journey. That's a companionship. It's very beautiful. I will also know the science behind there. That's where deities come. That's where gods and goddesses come. Why Hinduism or the Sanatan Dharma? By the way, what Sanatan Dharma is. I will also go into the facets of what Sanatan Dharma is, and it's very interesting. Like, the companionship you get with the deities is fabulous, because the perception that they have, the guidance they have, the personality traits, like it's a world by itself. Okay, and that the world of those of with God, okay, is there's a certain branch of yoga, okay, like sub branches of yoga, which is a mixture of all these four things I told you, like the gyan, the bhakti, the karma, and the kriya, like the knowledge, the emotions, the body, and the energy. So it is a mixture and a sub part branch of sub specialization, more specialization. It is known as tantra yoga, which we call as occult loosely, but it is not. It is much more than that. And there is Siddhatva mysticism. Okay, so today's topic is also about mysticism. So mysticism is what? Now we are here. So spirituality is only concerned about knowing yourself. Yes or no? Okay, and the tools and technologies through which you know yourself, the fundamentals of who you are, you study your own self, is known as spiritual tools and technologies. It comes under spirituality. But mysticism is the study and the quest of knowledge of the existence. What is this existence? How it is made? What are the entities that are living in this existence and the different dimensions of the existence? How can we relate to them? How can we communicate with them? What is their perspective on the existence? How do they look at life? What is there? It's like studying the taxonomic nomenclature that zoologists and botanists have. They study plants and animals. No, so mystic studies everything, not only plants and animals concerning to the physical plane, but also to the metaphysical plane. Like, what are the different dimensions of existence, different dimensions of life? What is after death? How does life happens? So the science part of it, how this, what are the building blocks of this existence? Not only the physical blocks, which are atoms, but also the metaphysical. Okay, so all this study, this holistic study, so that they can have an holistic perspective of each and everything, where these entities come, like, are ghosts there, Dracula, zombies, fairies. Okay, so jinns. Oh my god, this is getting serious. Don't freak out. So these are the things, interesting topics. So mysticism is like Hogwarts. Okay, and I would like to tell you, disclose you, that there is a real Hogwarts. People don't know it, so you're all muggles. Many of you who have watched Avengers, they have also known about Doctor Strange, the one doctor who gets paralyzed and he goes to Nepal, and then he goes into the ashram or that monastery, and then there are certain Buddhists who are practicing Buddhism, but it is totally, I would say, taken out of context. There is Siddhashram, we call it. It's known as Shambhala or Shangri-La. Okay, it's the hub of mystics. Okay, it's like, I don't want to get into the intricacies in this video. So there is a Hogwarts, I would say, and I would say with much conviction. But it's not for muggles. Okay. And that Hogwarts we will talk about in the future podcast, that what is that Hogwarts and who have been the alumni of that Hogwarts. You will be very fascinated to know. And the interesting thing about that Hogwarts school of mysticism is that it is not located in one place. It keeps on shifting, not only shifting in this planet, but other dimensions as well. But currently it's now here in this world for some time, then it will shift. So all these terms which are mysterious to physical people, or one who has solely himself established in his physicality, that is the aspect of mysticism. So this concept of gods and goddesses and deities, knowing your ultimate self with God, comes under mysticism. And by the way, my specialization in mystical sciences is specialization in companionship to know your ultimate truth of who you are with gods, not without gods. Without gods also I do, but I cherish the companionship that I have with the gods and deities, because they are bro. Like you have your BFF, they are my BFF. Okay, and it becomes very empowering to that. So these are the small things that I disclose today. Okay, because I consider you as a, I experience you as a part of me. Okay, I experience you how I experience myself. I experience you as a part of me. See you as Shubham, another aspect of Shubham. Maybe not all aspects have blossomed. In me also, there are many things that are still yet to know, and that's what makes life interesting. There's so many things yet to explore. It's like a video game that you have not explored so much. It's an open world game, and you are just playing and exploring new quests and new things. So like that. So we have so the mysticism is this huge part, huge aspect. It covers everything. In that, spirituality is just one aspect of mysticism, which is only bothered about knowing yourself, knowing the true existence of who you are, the fundamentals of you, who you are. And the mysticism does various researches on the aspects of how the existence is made, and through those signs they discover new tools, new technologies, and new machines. We will also come to yantras. Yantra means a machine. Like we have machines and gadgets in the physical realm to do physical things. There are also machines and gadgets that we use for mystical exploration, to gain perspective, to gain a peek into the behind the scenes of the existence and different dimensions of existence. Because we are not only physical, let's be honest guys, we are not only physical, because we have body, we have mind, we have energies, we have emotions, but we call them as my body, my mind, my energies, my emotions. But something which is mine can't be me. Yes, suppose this mic is mine, but this mic is not me. Okay, because if you say this mic is me, means you have lost your mind. Will need you to go to a psychiatric asylum. Okay, similarly you can call this body as yours, but this body is not you. Some, because this body you have gathered through the food that you have eaten. This body, the size of the body is not the same as it was before. It has grown because of the food that you have taken, and the food comes from earth. So basically this body is just an outcrop of the planet that you are living. Yes, the blood and the things, the fluids are just the water that you have drank. Yes, and this thing that is happening, this constant transpiration and respiration, this is the air that you are breathing. So everything that the body function is, it's just the elements that are present around you. It's just an outcrop. So this body and mind and energies and emotions are not you. It's yours. You can call it yours for the sake of today's understanding, but it is not. You will, once you gain advance, you will also realize that it is not you also. Okay, so this thing, that then who are you? When you go means something that is non-physical. Okay, so let's, for the sake of understanding, that there is a physical aspect, there is a non-physical aspect in us. Okay, so for the physical exploration we use physical tools and technologies. For the non-physical aspect of exploration we use non-physical tools and technologies. So that non-physical tools and technologies, not only that non-physical tools and technology, but also the physical aspect comes under mysticism. So it's just wild exploration. Okay. So in that, what I specialize in is the companionship with deities. It's basically, you can call it occult, but it's not so much occult. Okay, so that is the thing with me. And there are fabulous aspects. The clarity it gives you, it's mind boggling. That's why people always see me smiling and laughing, because I I tend to see the bullshit that is behind the scenes. You know, the bull, the crap. So that is one thing. So now we have understood what is spirituality, what is mysticism, what is a yogi, What is a spiritual process, what is a mystical process, how the spiritual sciences are different, sorry, how are the physical sciences different from mystical sciences. Okay, so we have covered so much, guys, today. Okay. At least the basics are clear now. So if you still have questions, do ask me in the comments section, or feel free to reach me out on social media at Transcend Sutras in Instagram. I'm in Instagram and in Facebook. In YouTube also you're watching, maybe, and also in the podcast thing. So just reach out to me. I would be glad to answer any of your questions and make contents on it. So now let's come to this, like, how did I come into this spirituality, business and stuff, mysticism? So basically, I from the beginning only, I was an explorer. I wanted to explore various things in life, and I wanted to have an holistic understanding of everything. I didn't like to have this dilemma thing that something I know, something I don't know. It's like I had that OCD that I want to know everything. Like I want to fit the pictures together. It's not that I am oblivious to certain jigsaw puzzles not there. So I wanted to know. So I from the beginning only I watched everything with great awe. Like it may be backyard science or science experiments or the about the universe, astronomy, astrology, which would be broadcasted on television from cartoons, animes, daily soaps, operas. Okay. And only I didn't watch is news and sports, those sports which are confined to one thing. Still I don't like it, like cricket, football, which are in one thing, like confined. I in games also that I played in console, I still play console games, PS4 and PS5. So I like open world games and a role playing game, RPG games which have a character to play. Okay, but I wanted to study everything. I wanted to become a researcher and an explorer. But due to the condition that I have, basically I have RP, retinitis pigmentosa, which is a genetic disorder where your cells of the retina gradually die. So first thing that comes out is night blindness. So I couldn't see at night, my dim light I couldn't see clearly, so I couldn't see the stars, but I was fascinated to know the stars. Okay, I wanted to have this thing about getting a telescope and seeing all the constellations and everything. So everything I wanted to do exploration. My color blindness also dwindles and goes away. So many things is like I wanted to explore, but I didn't have the body competence, the vision competence to explore it. Okay, so the my body kept in providing hurdles for me for exploration, and it frustrated me very much, because when you are an explorer and you are so closer to the goals, you have the resources, but your body keeps getting in the way, it damn frustrates you. I used to get angry very much, but then I understood that it's better to not get frustrated and try to satisfy my longing for exploration through other means. That's why I used to watch television, mainly National Geographic and Discovery, so that at least I could see the stars there and they're more clear. That's why I used to watch like 10 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours television, and my mom used to scold me, why are you watching so much? You watch everything, each and everything. You're like just a TV worm, not a bookworm. TV worm. I didn't like to read books because of my vision, because I couldn't see clearly and it strains my eyes so much that I generally got an aversion towards reading books. I like to listen to it, the knowledge and everything, and watch it graphically than to just read it, because it strains my eyes. Still now I use my iPad to do it. So for that, I saw and saw. But my longing for the knowing the nature of who everything, what everything is, how it all fits in the big picture, didn't die. Then I couldn't explore. I wanted to explore. I wanted to camp in the wildlife. I am still fond of animals. Okay, the forest, and that longing is still there, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't see at night. Even in the dim light, I can't see. So what hell would I do? Go in the forest and everything. So then, to satisfy that longing, I started playing role playing games, the RPG games. Okay, and when I played those games, it satisfied that longing so much, because the graphics I could see night, I could see the nightlife in the games also, but I could be someone who was competent enough to do all the things that I couldn't do in the real world. So and I became a gamer, an addicted gamer, because it was a window for me to explore the life that I couldn't explore by myself. So I played and I played and I played. But then I, from somewhere, this is typical thing in India, that through many years, because in India has created so much of yogis and mystics and siddhas are mystics, by the way. So they have created so much of siddhas that it is there, the exploration, the inner exploration is always there. It's the ethos of Indian culture. So I got to know that there is also an exploration which I could do, but where the body won't become a hurdle because it's an inner exploration. Okay, and there is this concepts of this different beings also you can see and all those stuff. And I was like, what is this? Oh my god, it's so interesting. If it is really there, let's try it out. And then I started ways so that I can explore this uncharted terrain of in inner world. Okay, through myself I started seeing everything, inquiring about everything from everywhere, so that I can start this journey. And I didn't like the mentoring of someone. I didn't like a kind of a middle person to aid me in the process. And basically what happened is, like, I tried many times, I got some success, I didn't got some. That's when I realized the importance of someone who knows stuff, because he can save you a lot of energy, money, and time, especially time, because inner journey is an uncharted terrain and something which can be here. It may take you, if you're lucky enough, you will get in that point, but if you're not lucky enough, it may take you centuries of hard work, still you can't find it, which is right here. So that's where the role of a guru comes, and through various things that we will talk, then I got explorations, and I am still exploring now. And that exploration, what has made me is, like, made me so empowered, because the thing that it has gave me is clarity to see everything as it is. Once you see everything as it is, you are not getting frightened every time. There's no stress, there's no anxiety, there is no fear. Okay, I won't say the fear has gone every like all the time. I won't say there is no fear, I would say. Yes, there is no fear. There may some anxiety, because when it comes to vision in the physical world, clarity means clarity, like, dispels anxiety. But when you have no clarity, you will be anxious. If you are anxious, basically means you lack clarity. Similarly, when I go out sometimes for my night vision, when I can't see something, there's no clarity through my vision, I get a little anxious, but I know it's just a temporary thing. So it settles down. It doesn't take the hang out of me. Okay. So the basic thing that spirituality and mysticism has done to me is made me so empowered that any googly, any ball that life throws, I can hit it. I can hit it. And it has given me the perspective to take everything as a game in life. Okay. Like, it's take everything as a play. Like, whatever happens, take it as a play. What happens in a play? Play is something where you are super involved, but it doesn't shatter you. Like, if you play a game of cricket, play football, you play it for the sake of playing it, for the sake of winning and getting that experience that happens in those process. You're completely involved, but once the play is over, you shake hands and go. Similarly, you start to take life experientially like that. Everything is a play. You take it as a play, and when you are a play, life will blossom. Life will open its doors to you, like so much that you will know so many secrets and cheat codes in life that otherwise you will completely miss. So that's the one thing the spirituality and mysticism has done to me, is like, has made everything a play for me, anything and everything. Now no one can freak the shit out of me. And it also make me empowered enough to do many things in the world I couldn't do. Like, I'm making a podcast. I have never thought that I would make a podcast. I will talk to you like this, frankly, this vulnerably. I couldn't even imagine possible that this would happen. Basically, I study psychology and see what I am doing, making podcasts. So these things happen when you see things as they are. It's It's not a big achievement for me, but nonetheless, it's not a smaller achievement. Okay, because this is also a skill set that I am having. And you, if I could have it, this is also possible for you also. It's not something that is it's in the Mount Everest and you can't get there. You can very much get there because now you have the convenience of having your own home. In your own home you have basic amenities that are fulfilled. You have the boon of technology at your doorstep. So now I would say spiritual progression and mystical evolution is much more needed, because now basic things are taken care of by your technology, by your gadgets. So earlier what you used to do, you would used to get very little much time, because earlier you used to have to go to the river to fetch water. Okay, you have to go and do your own for farming, okay, to get things done. But now everything is available in supermarket, everything is available in Amazon. You can just phone it and get it. So now if you don't invest in knowing who you are, what will happen, let's make a prediction. Since I'm also not for predictions, but it is what we see as the consequence. Now see, your basic survival needs are being taken care of. Okay, and now if you don't invest on knowing of who you are, the fundamentals of who you are, what will happen, this stress factor will increase, and it will come out as various symptoms, as various mental diseases and disorders. Okay, because it's the same thing, it's the notification of your lack of incompetence, that the warning sign is being given by your system, that you have not, bro, you have not known the fundamentals of you, who you are, and you're some way trying to evade it, trying to close that pop out box. And that pop out box is like pop 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 in your screen, having through various of symptoms, such kind of symptoms that you can't even figure out. It may also come out as no physical diseases. Such is the defense, that mechanism that is inherent in your body, or in your life, I would say, that it is very fundamental and very grave that you clear your basics, know who you are. That's why spirituality should be not the last step, but the first step. Spirituality is about knowing the basics, right? You should know the basics, you should know the ABC. How the hell are you playing the game without knowing the basics of it? I salute to you, I commend you. And you're dealing with the stress every day, and how are you living? I'm just, oh my god, I can. Even I used to do that. It's not that I am different to you. No, I used to also live the same life, but it was hell for me. It was serious hell. Now if someone gives me millions of bucks, or give me the entire existence at my footsteps, and say that how you are means how the being of you, human being, you are called as human being beings, you know how to be. So how you are right now, you exchange it for all the wealth, all the power. Even if I make you a god, I will say no, go the hell away. Not for a damn, not for being the god also. So that is the treasure that you can have. Okay, so it's very important that you start investing in who you are. See, you have you have to know something, especially to learn ABC, also to learn the language, which is a it significant part, but it's not your whole life. You have invested so many years through schooling and education, but the existential aspect of who you are, which which is the base of everything that you do and what you are, isn't this one deserves enough attention to be invested in itself? And since you're not investing in itself, you are discrediting, you are sacrileging, you're doing a great sacrilege against yourself of who you are. And that is the consequence of that sacrilege, that this all kinds of mental issues, social anxiety, confidence, diffidence, business, all is coming. Okay, if you get your basics right, I can assure you that stress won't be a part of your life. It will just evaporate. Confidence will evaporate. This issue of lack of self confidence, self worth, self esteem issues will just evaporate. Do you want a cure or a treatment? This is the thing you have to get on. Like, get straight with it, get blunt with it. Do you want a cure? What is a cure? Cure means it's gone forever. Treatment means The symptoms, it is still there, but when the symptoms come, you are just trying to numb the symptoms. That is treatment, but it's not gone. So, do you want a cure for your anxiety, or do you want a treatment for your anxiety? Do you want to evaporate your stress, or do you want to manage stress? The calling is yours. And I would say spirituality and mysticism are great tools. And they have empowered me in such a way that due to this, I won't call it, maybe, yeah, disability due to my eyes, because it restricts me in so doing so many things in the material plane, but it has empowered me to do so many things otherwise, many powerful, tremendous things. It has given me access to so many dimensions and aspects of life, which I won't like exchange for any amount of money or any amount of wealth in the world, in the existence, I would say. That's how the power. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. If you are a human being, you are watching this podcast, you have hands, you have eyes, you have legs, then it will also work for you. And it's not some high above, you have to go to a cave to do it. Basically, the flowering that happened in me happened in my home. I didn't have to go to a mountain cave to do it. It happened in my home. I got home delivery service. To put it literally, home delivery service, because I made sure that the fundamentals were right to me. I didn't went into the fluff. I didn't go to so much action part, like what everyone else is doing. I just knew what the fundamentals are, what the distinctions are, what qualified it. Like today I told you about what qualifies to be a spiritual process, what qualifies to be a yogi, what qualifies to be a mystic. Okay. So if you know the fundamentals, right, you will also get it home service. And with the boon of technology, it is very much possible and very much easier, and it's the need of the hour. Otherwise, if you don't invest in yourself, if you can't be still, you will be ill. Remember this term. If you can't stay still, you will be ill. Okay. Thank So let's end the podcast here and see you in the next episode. And I'm thinking, what should I do in the next episode? Maybe I will talk about Sanatan Dharma. What is Dharma? What is Sanatan Dharma? What are Purushat? What is a Purush? What is Prakriti? We'll talk about the masculine and feminine aspects, maybe. And we will go delve deep into all those aspects of what is self esteem, relationships, love, all those things. We will also come into the mind aspect of the subconscious mind, through where, we will also talk about attachment styles, maybe in future episodes. Attachment styles are the comes in the relationship aspect. I told you there's a love aspect, there is a relationship aspect. All this relationship aspects is like a structure that you have to play the game of relationships well. Only then you can have a good fulfilling relationships, otherwise relationships will crash. Okay. There are many fantastic yogis and spiritual persons who had who have experienced excellent love but had crappy relationships because they don't know the game of relationships well. Okay. Maybe this may be the case of you also, so we'll discuss further also. But let's also end it with a invocation. Okay. Again, close your eyes, uh, focus yourself on the ajna chakra, or the third eye, or the heart chakra, and just be with me. Karpuragwaram karunavataram sansarasaram bhujagendraharam sada vasantam हृदयारवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी sahitam namami. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next episode in the next week. Namaskaram. Thanks for tuning in to Transcend with Shubham. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained some valuable insights. If you want to learn more about spirituality, mysticism, and mental well being, Be sure to check out my website transcendsutras108.com for online coaching sessions and weekly blog posts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on social media. Until next time, keep transcending.